Just a little video to explain how to pull apart one of the starter motor switches. This is off a Zongshen gb1000, which Jono and Jonno here in Australia sold us a jde1000. They're very susceptible to dirt contamination, especially when you're using in a dusty or dirty environment like I do. And after a while, they just clag up, and you need more and more force to get the key to turn. Then eventually they won't turn. Then eventually they break. Yeah, it's the bit inside that broke. Then the key just spins around and doesn't do anything. Now to get them apart, you just lever up these little plastic tabs. There's a metal sheath over the top. You just knock that off, and then lever up that little tab there, that little tab there. Then this whole top plate pops off, and underneath the top plate you've got metal half little circular tracks, 8 of them. The some one entire section isn't connected, but the others, if you look at the little wiring diagram I put there, it explains what happens as you turn the key. It turns this little section here, which has got 2 sets of double contacts on it, and as they turn around, they just make contact in between the tracks in various configurations. There is a white wire inside that joins that track and that track, so that as it turns, the power comes in. Where does it come in? Oh, anyway, it comes in on that one there, and as the contacts are made, it joins up here and then flips across to these ones here and supplies out the red terminal in there, the red wire going to there, and that supplies power to the motor for running. And then the black and white one is connected to that one. So as it contacts there, that supplies power out to the spade terminal going to the solenoid on the starter motor. Now, the key goes in here, but then this little bit here is that plastic. Crappy design. Because as all this clogs up with dirt, it becomes harder and harder to turn, and after a while you maybe just put a little bit too much force on it, or you've done it once too often, and that little bit there breaks off. And then the key just spins around. Now, as you pull this apart, keep a very put a good mark on the case and a good mark on this top plate so that you get the alignment back up in the right place. And the white contact holder inside, make sure you mark, hang on, where's my focus gone? This white contactor plate in there, that can go in 2 or 3 different ways. So make sure you give it a good mark so you know exactly how to put it back in, because this has got a little spring wound around it here that connects to the case. And that gives you the spring for the starter actuation, and that can go in a couple of different ways, so make sure you mark it. Now these 2 little balls here give you the detent effect on this plate, and there's a couple of little springs in there. When you pull this out, the balls will tend to fly out, so just be very careful as you lift this up, and it's not too hard to fit the balls back into place as you push it back in again. Now what I did, there's a little, what's in effect a little circlip just there, just a little plate, and if you get a screwdriver or something like that and just push it back over, this whole lock mechanism falls out the bottom. And then what I did was just removed all of the, because the key's not long enough, to actually go right up there into that top plate. When this is broken off, once you've got it out, you've got an 8mm slot just there that this fits into, but the key's not quite long enough to go into it. So what I did was, after I dropped this out, moved that little plate across, dropped this out, I took all of the little locking pins, little locking plates out of the lock. And then just made up a bit of 8mm wide, and that thinner bit there has to be at least 32mm from there to the end. And then that just goes in there and turns, acts as a key. And then you just put it all back together again, give it a good clean out, and put it all back together again, and try and do something to stop the dirt getting in there so it won't upset the contacts next time. This mine's had that much dirt in it that it's effectively worn one little contact off, but it still seems to be working all right. Now, anyway, this isn't much, but it's better than nothing. Good luck.